Brother Cliff again with another question and answer time. Today we have a question that has been around for centuries, especially in the church. But it's this simply, what does the Bible say about tattoos, body piercing, and does it apply today? Well, the Bible says some things about it. Not very many verses, but it does handle it. And we need to look at it. We need to be serious about it. I was looking on the Google. I Googled tattoos, and I didn't know, but people between the age of 25 and 50, something like 35% have tattoos. It is something that people feel like today that, some people, not everybody, but some people feel like that they're expressions of maybe their character or how they feel about certain things, or maybe it's a favorite athlete or something. They want to put a number or picture, but tattoos are surely with us, and they're something that maybe we need to talk about. So I want to do that tonight if I can, just for a second. But first of all, in Leviticus, and this is the verse that everybody uses, but most everybody take it out of context. Okay, and I don't want to do that tonight, okay? But in Leviticus chapter 19 and verse 28, it says, "You shall not make any cuttings in your flesh for the dead, nor print any marks upon you. I am the Lord." And I've heard preachers and myself say that this is directly speaking to the, against tattoos and against this and that and the other. But they leave out this point, that God was talking about participating in demonic actions. See, folks would, in the demonic world, when someone would die or they was grieving, they would do something that would show their grief. Sometimes it was cutting themselves, or it was tattooing something on their bodies, and God was prohibiting that. We don't need to participate in things of the demonic realm, okay? And that's all that is. He wasn't giving us an ultimatum at that time to not have a tattoo, but he's saying don't do those things that is pagan. Acts of worship. We shouldn't be involved in that. We see that again in 1 Kings chapter 18 and verse 28. And you remember this was the time that Elijah was challenging all the prophets of Baal, and the sacrifice that they had prepared, and they poured the water and they did all this, and they, all day long the prophets of Baal had been praying to their God. And in verse 28 it says that, "And they cried aloud, and they cut themselves after their manner with knives and lancets until the blood gushed out of them." Again, this was a pagan practice. It was a pagan worship of a pagan god that God is warning us of, that we shouldn't participate in. As Christians, we can't do that. Now, we know that when Jesus died on Calvary, the law was nailed to the cross with him. You understand? He said himself, I came to fulfill the law. And not to abolish it, but to fulfill it. So the question goes on to ask, does it apply today? Well, it does in a sense when it comes to our Christian witness. Okay? I'm kind of switching gears here a little bit. As a Christian, there is certain things that we can do and certain things we can't do. Okay? And participating in the demonic and the pagan practices of the world, it will always be things that we can't do. Now, there's a lot of stigma put on tattoos, and you have to look. If you look at them, lots of times they're pointing to the dark side. You have the skulls, you have the crossbones, you have this, that. All those kind of tattoos are things that are really not edifying who we are as Christians. You understand that? So we have to be careful. And another thing that was mentioned about the parlors where you have to go get these tattoos. And I've never been in one, so I can't witness this personally. But most of the time, what I read, it was the environment was not very conducive with a Christian's life. You understand what I'm saying? So that's why I'm switching gears here. In 1 Corinthians chapter 11, the Apostle Paul is dealing with something. He's dealing with the proper way to worship. And he's talking about women here. He says that, but I would have you to know that the head of every man is Christ, and the head of every woman is the man, and the head of Christ is God. Every man praying or prophesying, having his head covered, dishonors his head. But every woman that prayeth or prophesies with her head uncovered, dishonors her head, for that is even all one as she were shaven. For if the woman be not covered, let her also be shorn. But if it be a shame for a woman to be shorn or shaven, let it be covered. For a man indeed ought not to cover his head, for as much as he is the image and the glory of God, but the woman is the glory of the man. For the man is not of the woman, but the woman of the man. Neither was the man created for the woman, but the woman for the man. For this cause ought the woman to have power on her head because of the angel. Nevertheless, neither is the man without the woman. Okay? You can read that rest of that chapter, but what the point is here, in the church in Corinth, there was a practice in the realm of the pagan world, and it was the idea that women covered their heads for a specific purpose, and that purpose was many times a practice that was not conducive with honoring God. And the idea was that if we was going to be a witness and a testimony to the world, then we had to show them that we was willing to commit ourselves totally to what we believed in. And that was the idea of, now Paul wasn't saying that women even today ought to have their head covered, but he was saying that their witness and their testimony was more important than a practice that the world was trying to promote, okay? And it was more important than their witness was more important than anything else or any kind of tradition, so to speak. So you got to be careful here. For in fact, he went on and he said that we don't do this. We don't do this as Christians, because the only thing we do it for is that we might be a witness to others. It's like he said about meat sacrificed to idols. Paul said, well, if it causes my brother to sin, guess what I won't do? I won't eat it. I won't participate in it. You understand? Well, think about a tattoo. Me as a preacher, if I got my arms tattooed up, and you came into church and you looked at me and all you could focus on was that tattoo. You wasn't seeing me or listening to my message or hearing me proclaim what I believe to be in God, because the tattoos was distracting you. Then what should I do? I shouldn't do it. You understand? Because my witness is more important than what I think about a tattoo. Okay? About a tattoo. Okay? And then one other thing I want to share with you, if I can. In 1 Timothy chapter 2, it says this, 9 and 10. In like manner also, that women adorn themselves in modest apparel, with shamefacedness and sobriety, not with broided hair, or gold, or pearls, or costly array, but which becometh women professing godliness with good works. Again, our modesty, our influence is more important than what I think is about a tattoo. Now, do I think that tattoos are wrong? I'm not going to make that comment, but I'm going to say this. Tattoos will not keep you from going to heaven. If you believe in Jesus Christ as your Lord and Savior, it doesn't matter what you've done to your body. You understand that? It doesn't matter. You can still be saved. But the question is my tattoo a witness? Can I use it for the glory of God? And if I can't use it for the glory of God, I need to stay away from it. I need to stay away from it. I hope that helps. God bless you. We love you.